It's a beautiful Wednesday, November 26th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's number one casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. All that matters is Saturday at 2:30, Ted.
One more. One more. Gotta have it. Everything's on the line. You can smell the playoffs right around the corner, but you got to cap this thing off, man. And, we'll get into it, but this is a football team that is loaded with talent on both sides of the ball.
Take care of LSU. Control what you can control, and whatever happens, happens. And you can't worry about the seeding. You can't worry about whether you're going to host. You can't start going through scenarios where maybe, hey, does Alabama jump us if this and that happens? None of it matters. All that matters is what happens between the white lines at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon in Norman, Oklahoma.
That's right.
Win, and we're in the dance, baby. And LSU is, let's be real, they are limping in here. And it's been a long, long time. I don't know the last time we beat LSU. We are due. We have not beat LSU in my lifetime. Now, we haven't played a ton, but we've lost some big ones to do. And while they're down, I would like to bury them.
No doubt. Yeah, we need this one. Payback last year was, had opportunities to win that game. But hey, hosting LSU at home, final game of the season, everything on the line. What more could you ask for, right?
Let's get into it. OU's defense versus the LSU's offense, Ted. What are you watching for?
Well, incredibly talented football team, loaded with skill position players. Let's start at quarterback, though. Nussmeier was thought of as being a Heisman candidate this season, had a rough year, was banged up. They've had some offensive line issues, made it really difficult on him. The injuries and stuff he's playing through, they've now gone to Van Buren, who, himself, he's not as experienced as Nussmeier. He's not as elite of a passer as Nussmeier, but big athletic dude, can run, can move, has a big arm, so he can still operate their offense at a high level. The run game is going to be key. Stopping the run. They've had a hard time running it this year. That should continue. I think that we've got a big edge with our front seven against their offensive line. That's been where the real problems have started for them this year, both in the run game and in pass protection. Not going to get a whole lot of stuff from them. They're a split zone counter team. Now, with Van Buren in there at quarterback, you'll get some quarterback stuff, some quarterback read option off the back end. Haven't shown a whole lot of like the quarterback counter stuff, but since they're a heavy counter team, you're going to see a lot of that, or they're going to be able to throw that in rather. They'll do some outside zone, some mid zone, some outside zone stuff, but a big split zone and counter team. And just like everyone else, they're going to get to it a bunch of different ways with the tight ends, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 11 personnel with just 1 tight end out there. They're going to get to all of their looks out of a bunch of different formations and personnel groupings. Their running backs, I think, are really good. Caden Durham, we know well, was recruited here. He had a great year last year. He's had some big runs this year. Harlem Berry is a really good player, 22. Both of their backs are excellent. They'll take a wide receiver zero, Xavier Thomas, and put him in the backfield, hand him the ball, do some stuff with him just to add an athlete back there. Um, I think when you look at a lot of their explosive runs, there's one factor that usually carries over, and that is the crack with their wide receivers coming into the box. Nick Anderson's had some good ones. They're wideouts. They will hunt your support player, your safety that's low in the box. They will hunt him all the way deep into the core, deep into the B gap to try and get some lumber on him and take advantage of the corner who's coming in to replace that little gap there, whether they hit the gap or stutter and get outside that corner. That's been where a lot of their explosive runs have come from. So we've got to be really good at the corner position, following that crack receiver inside, replacing him, and tackling really well. But, you know, a lot of the run game stuff, Gabe, to me, they've got plays there that they've got numbers, they've got bodies, but the offensive line, you'll have one guy get beat. You'll have, a combo works to the wrong guy, or it just feels like there's one thing that's wrong across the board on a lot of their runs. And you see some of the successful ones. It's like, yeah, why the problems? Why aren't they more consistent with that? And it really boils down to the offensive line.
I love the matchup for our defensive line against their offensive line. They have been inconsistent with their technique. They've been inconsistent being assignment sound. Frankly, they've been inconsistent with their level of physicality. They've had a lot of problems along the offensive line. I think this is the worst offensive line we've played in SEC play other than South Carolina. And we remember they had a lot of issues.
Right.
The goal remains the same, right? Shut down the run game, make them one-dimensional.
That's right. Yeah, and I think we should be able to tight end. Bauer Sharp plays there, number 10, number 14, Trades Green. Great pass catcher. We'll get to him in a second, but I don't think they're very good blocking at tight end. They're not physical. They're not technically sound. They just kind of try and position block. And I think that with our edge guys and backers in those spots, we should win those battles. But yeah, you're right. Stopping the run, make them one-dimensional, put Van Buren in third and long, and that's where this defense can really tee off. Passing game stuff. Let's start with the screen game. Good screen team, and they run a ton of screens, and they'll get to it a bunch of different ways. Running back screens, love tight end screens. On the running back stuff, you'll get like counter play action, pull the guard, pull the tight end, fake the counter, and then they'll throw a screen over there to them. Split zone.
They have, I think you're about to say, sorry for interrupting you, but they have all of their foundational run plays. They have screens built off of them. All of them. Every single one of them. I've seen every single one of them, whether it's the split zone, the mid zone, the counter. There is a screen to a running back or a tight end off of every single run action that they have.
Yep, that's exactly right. You'll get a lot of that stuff. They time it up pretty well. It helps that offensive line out. Get them out in space a little bit. They're not so good physically at the point of attack, but you can get those guys out in space and try and create a little bit of area for your really good running backs to make a guy miss. You mentioned the tight end screens. They will run tight end screens from a ton of different looks. And what's interesting is they love to run tight end screen in general, but tight end screen first play of drives. First play of drive, you'll see a tight end screen quite a bit. And they'll do it. They'll like the tight end will line up in a protection little wing like he's going to chip, and he'll chip and then swing out, and they'll run a screen to him. They'll do it off of tight end in the core. um, a wing tight end. They'll run counter away with the off tight end and a guard pulling, and then they'll throw hide screen back away from it to the tight end that was on the line. You're going to get it a bunch of different ways. Like I said, first down, and they love to start drives with it. And it's the same thing with running back screen. They usually third and long is a big running back screen down, but they like it on 1st and 10, which I thought was interesting. You'll get all kinds of tunnel screens. They'll run tunnel screen to trips out to the field where there's a ton of space. They'll run tunnel screen to the one receiver away from trips into the boundary where it's really tight. They'll do it out of 2x2, a bunch of different looks. Throw those tunnel screens, trying to get those wide receivers the ball. They'll also do wide receiver middle screen where you start off like in a 2x2, motion a wide receiver in close to the core, like he's going to run an over route or a flat route, and he'll run a little hide, fake out and run a hide there behind the offensive line and try and attack the middle of the field. So you're going to get that a bunch of different ways. What does that tell me? The offensive line struggles. So let's screen and formation you and get the ball easily to our skill position guys. We talked about the running backs. We talked about the tight ends, Bauer Sharp, Trades Green. Bauer Sharp is more of their tight end screen guy. He's got the bulk of those, but they will do it to Trades Green as well. And then the wide receivers, trying to get those guys the ball easily in space. I talked about Xavier Thomas lining up in the backfield, easy ways to get him the ball. He's incredibly fast. But the tunnels, wide receiver screens, easy throw and catch to get Barry and Brown, Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, mentioned Xavier Thomas. Try and find a way to get those guys the ball really easily.
I do not expect it. I know Nick Anderson's not playing. I think that knee injury was pretty significant for him. And then I think that Aaron Anderson, from what I can tell, I'd be surprised if he played. Yeah. So you're worrying about Xavier Thomas, Barry Brown, Kyle Parker, number 12, can really go as well.
They're going to it doesn't matter. They're going to keep running former high 4 and 5-star wide receivers off the sideline. They've got a pack of them over there. General passing game. This team runs boot more than pretty much anyone I've seen. Off of their split zone, off their counters, just straight snap it to the quarterback, and he, little delay and then kind of waggle, get outside the pocket. They'll do boot a million different ways, and they love to attack those matchups. They come back on the outside by one, man-to-man, the backside, wide receiver running the over route with a ton of speed. And I thought that was a real strength of Nussmeier, being able to thread that over route, either man-to-man or between players in zone. Haven't seen as much of that or as high level of that from Van Buren yet, but it's still going to be something they major in a ton. Boot, I bet we see 10 boot plays in this game. In the drop back game, and also sprint, just again, try and getting the quarterback away from that offensive line because they have a tough job protecting. In the drop back game, you're not going to get a ton of different concepts. At least my view of this offense is they are a lot like we talked about Missouri with Zollers. They are a one side of the field read, like if he's reading out a passing concept, they're not going to have double slants over here, a dig over there, and he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 across the field. They're getting one side of the field concepts, which means 3 level, right? You got the flat, you got the mid tier behind it, and then you've got usually a takeoff or a route deep, maybe a post or something, maybe a sail if he does it from the inside spot. But you're going to get a lot of 3 level. You're going to get a lot of snag, flat, little slant hookup, and a 7 cut or a sail in behind it. A lot of those one side read concepts, double slant, dragging with the slant and the flat. They were going to try and isolate one side of the field for Van Buren, and then they're going to be matchup oriented. They're going to try and find a way to get their best player against some matchup that they like, and they're just one-on-one routes, fade routes, slant if you're playing off, just turn and throw the hitch if it's cover three and the corner's a deep third player and he's got a cushion. They're going to run like a quick little hitch and let him go one-on-one against the corner trying to get up and tackle. Come back on the outside against man-to-man. So boot, the over stuff, the comeback that you get off boot, sprint with the flat and the cell, the single side stuff, and then strictly, it looks to me, matchup. He's staring it down. He likes that matchup. It's going to be a fade if you're impressed. It's going to be a slant if you're off. They may run a comeback if you're bailing. They may run a hitch if you're in cover three, but they're going to go to their individual players and find matchups they like, and that carries over to the guy you mentioned, Trey'Dez Green. Red zone, fade, middle of the field, bodying up a linebacker or a safety. He is a giant athlete, and they're going to find ways to isolate him in some one-on-ones. To me, that's their offense in a nutshell. High-level skill position players. Offensive line that struggles, which means they're going to find screens, tunnels, quick game, wide receiver in the backfield, easy ways to get them the ball where they don't have to protect the quarterback for 3 or 4 seconds. It's out. So the formula is the same. Stuff the run, be keyed in to the boot and the screens off the run game, and put them in 3rd and long, and let Venables throw exotic blitzes and exotic coverages to where they don't know what matchup they want to isolate. And I think we'll get to the quarterback a bunch, or he'll throw us the football.
I think you nailed it.
That's my view of it.
I think Van Buren has enough mobility to scare you when it comes to, kind of some of the things going back to like the Ole Miss game where Chambliss extended drives with his legs, picked up some key 3rd downs. You got to shut that down if you're OU's defense. I think the 2 things that I am expecting in that first half, with Reggie Powers having to miss that first half, I think they're going to see what our answer is to when they go to their sub packages and have a bunch of speed on the field. Like, what are we going to do at that cheetah spot? I could see them being interested in attacking that position in the first half with Reggie Powers being unavailable, because he's been our speed nickel guy.
Yeah.
And then we've seen our corners struggle at times with finding the ball on just some of the deep ball stuff. And they got guys with some serious speed. One of the easiest ways to get it out of Van Buren's hand quickly is just catch it, take a short drop, and throw the go ball.
Yep.
I think we'll get tested. I think if there's any position in this game that needs to play well for OU, it's corner. They are going to get brought into the fit. Is brought a word? Brought? Brung? Broughton? They going to get brung into the fit.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the fit a lot in the run game with all the crack replace stuff that LSU's going to do. And then I think LSU's coaching staff is going to go, we can't block these guys in pass protection. Let's throw some go balls. Let's get the ball out of Van Buren's hand quickly. They'll do all the move the pocket stuff you talked about. But I think this is a game where our corner is going to have a day, man.
Yep. And to me, that's the worry is I do not think LSU is consistently going to be able to drive the field 80 yards on us in 10 or 12 plays. What I worry about is the big chunk run with those great running backs, the big chunk pass going over the top, or, making a guy miss on a one-on-one isolated route, and then you're off to the races. That's the big worry for me. The screen stuff, They do a lot of it, but maybe they hit us on one or two, but we're probably the best screen playing defense that I've seen in the country this year. Our defensive line, finding those guys right there at the line of scrimmage, it's been very difficult for teams to run screen on us. So I agree with you. If you can protect against the big chunk plays, going over the top, testing us in one-on-one on the outside, then I think you can have a really good day.
One last thing, and it is connected to the defense. The crowd. Listen, LSU's not good. This game before the season, every single OU fan was just going, I hope that everything's on the line against LSU. Right? Remember, people are picking them to win the SEC. A bunch of people picked them to win the national title. Well, everything is still on the line for one team. And that one team's playing in their stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's Thanksgiving week. I know it's just a weird week in general. But if you were on the fence, if you're looking at this game going, we're probably going to win. They kind of stink. Their coach got fired. Their players are probably trying to figure out where they're going next. Who's the next coach going to be? Is it Kiffin? No. Be there and support your football team.
Yep.
There's no doubt in my mind with how excited the fan base is right now. And let's be real, with how traumatized a lot of members of this fan base are by LSU fans.
Yep.
This is a great opportunity to bury this team. And I know I want that. I have to imagine dang near every member of Sooner Nation wants it. And I expect the atmosphere to be a huge advantage for OU's defense in this game.
I totally agree. It's all there. Like everyone talks about LSU and their home field. Like we went there on the same thing, a weird week, weird game, and it was very ho-hum. Let's show them what a huge atmosphere is like because to your point, you go back to the Alabama game when they were on the road. They played really good, which, by the way, Venables has mentioned this. This LSU team plays to their competition. Like we're going to get the best version of them at least early. If you can jump on top of them, maybe they'll fold. But ton of procedure stuff, jumping off sides, snap counts are slow. The ball's getting snapped late. Offensive linemen still in their stances when the ball's snapped. So an offensive line that's struggling and a quarterback that doesn't have a ton of experience make it as difficult as possible on those guys.
And I know they will.
I'm
confident. I'm confident. But don't be like LSU, like OU students. We went to that game last year, and I know it was – we had a big – us not being very good was a big factor in what that crowd was like last year in Baton Rouge. There were thousands and thousands of empty seats in their student section. Let's not be like them,
Nope. Yep.
We got everything is on the line for us. They're trying to ruin our season. Let's all come together and watch our football team go up and down the field and destroy this LSU team, put them out of their misery, and let's have a party for 4 hours doing it. How about that?
Hell yes. Sign me up. Sounds amazing.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Let's do it.
What we waited for, man.
Let's do it. All right, let's talk about OU's offense versus LSU's defense. But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with a discount on fuel, 10 cents off on every gallon of gas, and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didi Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code SOONER at checkout. That's right. Next day air like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Dieter Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way. Order today at DieterRanch.com and get your steaks just in time for the holidays.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinker partner of the OU Sooners. Guys, it's November in Norman, and that means 2 more home football games where you can grab Simple Modern's limited edition, brand new design drinkware that's only available in the stadium. These also make the perfect holiday gift for every Sooner fan in your life, especially for those who can't make it to a game. I'm telling you, it's the perfect way to cheer on the Sooners. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, looking at OU's offense versus this LSU defense. First of all, I've been saying it for feels like the last couple months. Cherish the football. Would love to see another 0 turnover game from this offense. Now, there have been 3 or 4 plays that have gone our way in the last couple games. I would prefer there be none of those plays because this is one of the best interception teams in the country. LSU's got dudes in the back end of this defense, and if Mateer throws them one, they're going to catch it.
Yep.
Bama didn't catch it. Missouri didn't catch it. This group's going to catch it. It's just, so you can't make those mistakes, right? Cherish the football. Continue to be turnover free offensively. Looking at LSU's defense, they are a 4-2-5 majority even front, 4 down linemen, 2 on each side of the center. They will occasionally jump into some of the odd spacing, 4 down stuff, but favorite players, 44 Pyburn on the edge, really physical, veteran guy, just doesn't look like a ton of fun to play against. And then AJ Halsey, 13, one of their safeties, kind of jumps off the tape to me. It seems like he's gotten better and better. I like the way that he plays, but getting to some run game thoughts. Clearly, overall, we have not run the football the way that any of us want us to run the football. But I don't think LSU's particularly good in the core of their defense.
Yeah.
I mentioned it. I think Pyburn's good. 44, good, physical, consistent player. I like him.
Motor.
But other than that, no one else in the core of their defense jumps off the tape to me. Defensive line is okay. Inside backers, okay. Harold Perkins at the nickel spot. It's a weird fit from him. He makes a play every now and then where you go, nice. But it's all just kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I think we can have success running the ball right at these guys.
Let's go.
Now, we've got to be intelligent doing it. You got to put your guys in positions to succeed. I would love to see some more of that mid-zone action I've been talking about that has looked good the handful of times that we've run it lately. You got to avoid putting our tight ends at the point of attack against Pyburn, number 44. That will not go well. Now against 6, maybe we can win some of those battles. I've not been very impressed with them at the other edge spot. But A&M and Bama both had success with like this fold zone play that really it's just a way of getting to mid zone, almost like outside zone action, making the defense flow. And they had some good success creating that zone action. I think we can have similar success doing it. Make the defense react and move. Now, you got to get to some of the core stuff you've been running, right? Your split zone. I would love to see split zone with a wider track from the offensive line. We were running that earlier in the year. We had some really nice runs on it. Would like to see us get back to that. I really want to see us run some zone insert because our best passing plays in the back half of the season have been zone insert, play action, where it's just creating space. Mateer looks comfortable in it. if we can get good at running zone insert to set up that play action, kind of create that relationship with that concept, I think that'd be really beneficial for us. And I realize I'm saying this in the last regular season game. I
Right.
get it. Yeah, like, oh, really? We're just gonna build this out now. Hey, it's never too late. So I would like to see that. I think GY counter is a good play against them. Now, if you are double teaming and 33 weeks is backside, you have to be ready for him to run through backside behind the center on counter plays. So, and that goes for all the QB gap scheme stuff we've been doing with Mateer, right? The speed sweep action, the other QB gap scheme action and he's reading it out. If your double team's going to 33, center, right guard, right tackle, or center, left guard, left tackle, wherever that double team is going to 33, whether it's the right side or the left side, you have to be ready at the guard position to bump the center off and for the center to get a piece of that guy as he's trying to run through the backside A gap. Just one very detailed thing that you got to know personnel by concept if you're an offensive lineman. And that's one of those 33. He likes to run through on the backside. If he sees pullers, he thinks he can make that play by not flowing over the top and being in his gap. You know how you typically see backers. He thinks he can make a play running through and backdooring everything. QB run game. I think it's all on the table, right? Got to win this game.
Yep.
Now, I'd prefer us not have to run Mateer 18 times, but with where we're at, and I know that Venable said Taylor Tatum is healthy and available for the first time all season. Great, but I'm just going to have to see that guy get out there, get some carries, and have an impact before I kind of believe it. That's just where I'm at. So it's a banged up Xavier Robinson is clearly the guy they trust the most. And then it's Mateer carrying the football. That's where we're at offensively right now. So the split zone bluff play where he keeps it on the outside, the split zone follow play, right, where he follows Xavier Robinson, those types of stuff, the QB gap scheme stuff, like it's all on the table for this game. Now, with the gap scheme stuff, the best those plays have looked is when Mateer is decisive and it is getting to the line of scrimmage quickly. He's got to be more decisive with some of those reads, and he's got to get to the line of scrimmage sooner because it's really hard for the offensive line to hold those blocks for like 3-4 seconds, man. That's really hard. So if we're going to continue that where it's the outside element threatening the edge of the defense and then the QB gap scheme run stuff, like it's got to hit faster if he's keeping it. And when it did against Missouri, that was one of our best runs of the day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So
Right.
well, I would like to see the timing of that improve. Now, LSU has had some issues against QB run out of empty formations. And that's whether like you line up in empty or you're just swinging the running back out of the backfield on the snap. Like when you get to empty QB run game, I think they have struggled just playing in that light box and getting off blocks. And whether that's just a 5-box counter, a 5-box zone, or like a duo concept, a simple fold play where you're one guy's blocking the down guy, you're folding another guy in the back or in the box. Like just some simple stuff in empty and QB run game should be good. That's all I got for run game. You got anything to add?
No, I like it. I think it's a physical matchup that we can win if we just, turn it loose and fire off the football, try to get some movement up front. I think we could have an advantage there.
I would like for us to carry a handful of concepts in this game and say, hey, boys, we're running each of these 5 or 6 times. Come off the rock. Let's go.
Yep.
That would bring me great joy. Now, pass game thoughts. Get the ball to Isaiah Satania. I don't know how many times I got to say it on here, but continue to find ways to get him more targets. He has proven to be our best weapon in the passing game. I still think Burks is a good player. He's capable of more for sure, but get Satania the football. And if you can get him isolated on Harold Perkins, Boy, do I love that matchup.
Yeah.
That guy's not a nickel. That's where he's playing, but he's had one of the weirdest careers I
Yeah.
can remember in college football.
Sure.
But if you can attack him with Satania or even Burks at that nickel spot for him, I love that matchup. I mean, attack him, make him cover, make him cover. Now, looking at some things they've struggled with, they've had some miscommunication issues. Kind of get lost just on some of the mesh stuff. Crossers going across the formation. For whatever reason, they're not passing off a lot of that stuff, especially in zone, very well. And we know that's a staple of what Arbuckle wants to do offensively. He loves the crossers, so I would expect that to be a big part of what we're going to do in the passing game. One area of the field that they have struggled defending, whether it's zone or man, is just the intermediate to deep middle of the field. They're underneath zone coverage with their backers and their safeties. It's just not in sync, if that makes sense. There's just it doesn't feel like it's on a string in the back end of their defense. And that has resulted like some deep in breaking routes. It has resulted in just huge voids in that area of the field. And I go back to the deep dig to Jermichael Carter against Bama has given me so much hope that we could attack that area of the field. But
Great
that
play.
is something they have struggled with. And you have to design some things because they've given up some big chunks in that area behind the underneath zone coverage and in front of the safeties. Like that has been a problem area for them, and we got to attack it. Now, I'm just looking at an individual matchup. Number 42, Devon Keys for them. I actually, he's pretty impressive just with all the stuff they make him do in this defense. But if we can get Canick on Keys, now Canick's going to have to run through all the grabbing. The guy grabs like crazy when he's in man-to-man coverage, but like sometimes he's an inside backer, sometimes he's basically a nickel position. Like they make him do some interesting things. You got to see if Canick can go win some one-on-ones against that guy. And doesn't it feel like Canick's due to just have a huge play in a game? He just feels due. He's been too quiet for too long, Ted.
Yep. Yeah. Especially, when, early in the season, he was kind of Mateer's safety valve when Mateer got out and scrambled a little bit. And he still likes to do that. We got to find Canick crossing the field or beating someone down the sideline or something to create an explosive, and that'll help open things up.
Double moves. We have not been a big double move team, right? But number 10, Deshaun Spears, very talented, all the size and length in the world, but he likes to jump the short stuff. He's sitting on it. He's ready. He wants to jump the short stuff. And frankly, for the vast majority of the back half of the season, we have been a throw it to the sticks on third down team. Mm-hmm. He's going to be sitting on it. Out and up, slant and go, stutter and go, like something. Try to make him take the bait and see if we can get a huge play out of it. He's a long-limbed guy, Ted, at 6'3". He's not as fluid of a stop and start guy as some of the other guys in their secondary. So if we're going to double move a guy and try to, make a guy take the bait, I think you target Deshaun Spears, number 10. So that being said, I also think they'll just give you the running back check down out of the backfield. Just throw it. Yeah. Throw it 8 times if you need to, because they're going to give it to you. I think screens, you can screen them. You can running back screen them for sure. In some of these second and long, third and medium situations, like their defensive linemen want to come off the rock and rush the passer. It's just not something we've done well, though.
Yeah.
So there's that. I would love to see us rip off like a 40-yard running back screen
Yeah.
against him. It'd bring me a lot of joy. On to the pass pro thoughts. 44, Pyburn. I brought him up a lot. Clearly, good player. He has a really nice swipe into like a dip and rip move. It's very fluid. It's effective. I'm not concerned that Derek Simmons or Fasusi could have trouble with that. Foje, I don't know what's going to happen to the right tackle spot. It seems like they like Simmons better than Foje right now, so I don't know who's going to start there, but that move from Pyburn, we have not been particularly good at dealing with rips when guys get underneath our pads, and this is his go-to move. So now he's also a guy that can just say, hey, if you're going to vertical set, kind of like what we saw from Missouri, he's just going to say, okay, I'm going to bull you as hard as I can straight to the quarterback.
Yep.
He's a strong dude.
He looks strong on film for sure.
So he is a concern. He's the number one concern for me as far as just individual pass rushers that they've got. Now, 88 Gooden. He looks undersized as a defensive tackle. But this dude has as much twitch as any interior pass rusher we've seen all season long. He has more individual rushes at the defensive tackle spot that have made me go, oh, than anyone else we've played. Now, I don't think he holds up great in the run game. But if you're talking about obvious passing situations, 88 can get it, man. Quickness, it's quickness and counters. Mm-hmm. You're not worried about the long arm. You're not worried about bowling you. So if you're Eddie Pierre-Louis, Jake Michaela, Fabechi Wee-Woo, like, make him go through you. Don't go for all the head faking and all the moving. Make him run through you. Be proactive with your hands. Throw some flashes to where he throws some of those hand moves. Make him go through you. Stay balanced. Use your hands. Make him go through you. They like to blitz Harold Perkins from their nickel spot. Now, they'll bring him into the core and blitz him. He'll come off the edge. They want to get him on a running back as much as possible. Now, I've been a little surprised. Like, he just hasn't been like a world beater in those matchups. That's not how I've seen it, at least. So I'm not as worried as I thought I was going to be. When I saw it, like he's playing nickel for him, I was like, oh boy. You get a guy that was like an elite pass rusher his freshman year against a running back. You got to love that matchup. Well, it's not like he's just destroying running backs in those situations. I don't know. It's kind of, it's interesting to me. And Xavier Robinson, he's handled that stuff well. So maybe Perkins will make some huge plays as a blitzer, but I'm not as worried about it as I thought I'd be,
Well, I don't know if Tatum is going to play.
If it's Tatum, then I'm worried.
That's what I was going to say. Like, we don't know if he is healthy and available, which means he's going to play, or if he's just healthy and available because, and we haven't seen him, so we don't know how much he's improved. But as a true freshman a year ago, big area of struggle for him.
Yep. So there's that. We'll see. Now, 3rd and long. They will get in 7 up, right? There's 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. They will bring all 7. They will bring 6 and drop 1 out. They will bring 5 and drop 2 out. All you got to do is communicate, man. Know where everyone's working. Who's the running back got? Who's the O-line got? Are you bringing a tight end into the picture? Who's he got? Who is everyone responsible for? If you're in a 6-man protection and they're showing 7 up, if they bring them all, who's the unblocked guy? John Mateer's got to know. You got to float away from the unblocked guy in those situations. It's all about communication. You're at home. No secrets at home. No secrets. Hey, I got that guy. You got that. Like, let's talk this out. No confusion. Now, they will get to some interesting looks. They've showed a couple times throughout the season They'll have three defensive linemen, Ted. So they'll have a D tackle and a DN on one side, and then a DN out in a wide technique on the other. And then they'll have this like cluster of three guys. And those three guys will be Harold Perkins, Deshaun Spears, number 10, and then Keys, number 42. And it's never a straight rush. They're always going to do some type of twist game out of it. And a lot of times the guy that's going to be the looper coming around on all the twist games is Harold Perkins, because they are banking on you putting an offensive lineman on Harold Perkins because of his history as a pass rusher, and then making you bump all the twist stuff off, right? Chain reaction. Boom, 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 boom. Guard's got to bump the center. Center's got to bump the guard. Guard's got to bump the tackle. I'm here to tell you, just put the running back on him and let him follow him. Send the offensive lineman to 42. Now, we'll see how we handle it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it just comes down to communication. I'm not sure what the protection plan for that particular look is going to be, but everything that they do in the third and long situations, if you are clean with your communication, now, of course, you got to execute physically and all that stuff, right? You got to be smart with your sets and like all that stuff. But if you just communicate and everyone knows where they're going, it has not been like they've just been hell on wheels with their third down packages. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like that. I mean, if you can clean it up easily by manning him with the running back, and like you want as few moving parts as possible, right? If you like those matchups. So I mean, I think that's a good idea. But I'm with you, man. If you can pick up their blitz game on third and long, you should be able to find some opportunities in the secondary.
That's all I got.
I like it all around. I mean, you like the matchup, man. I mean, offensively and defensively, I don't expect us to go out and put 50 on the board with the offense, but there's some room to run the ball. There's some concepts to throw it that we've been building on, some quarterback run stuff. And then defensively, you choke them out in the run game and put it on Van Buren's arm. I feel really good about it.
I'm with you. I will say we're starting to think about this season differently now, right?
Yeah.
If you want to go win the whole thing, you got to get better offensively. And that starts now. In my opinion, this LSU defense, there's still a lot of people around the country that respect this LSU defense. In my opinion, they are one of the worst defenses we've played in the SEC. You should be able to move the ball efficiently and score some points on this defense, especially with where they're at mentally.
Yep.
It's time for the offense to start showing some improvement and changing the narrative of this football team. Because right now, the offense is the butt. Hey, Oklahoma's really good, but that offense.
Yeah.
Let's change it. The offense needs to be an and. Man, that Oklahoma defense is an absolute problem. And that Oklahoma offense, hey, they showed some improvement against LSU. Watch out. No one's going to want to play them. That's what I want to hear. When people are asking Yurachek or whatever the new committee head's name is, like, I want to hear him say, we were impressed by the improvement we saw from OU's offense against a solid LSU defense. Like I want to hear that sentence come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I think we are set up for that to happen. Just got to go do it, man.
If you can come out and have some early success, offense, defense, special teams, and get a 2-score lead on this team, it's supposed to be kind of cold and windy. They got a bunch of distractions with the coaching situation. The players, am I getting in the portal? Who's going to be our coach? The coaching staff. Am I going to have a job next year? Do I need to put my house on the market? This team is itching to get to the offseason, okay? If you can jump on their ass early, that warm bus, that warm locker room, that's what they're going to be thinking about right out of the gate. But all that being said, the team that's going to be standing there in front of you at kickoff, thinks they're going to ruin your season. Go whip their ass.
That's beautifully said. Let's learn a little more about everything going on with the LSU Tigers with our buddy T Bob Hebert. Now, warning, our man T Bob has been known to let it fly. So if you're in the car driving somewhere for Thanksgiving, if you're the parent, pop the headphones in for this one. I feel like the warning is necessary here for our guy T Bob.
Nothing wrong with giving the heads up. I like
Yeah,
it.
just heads up. He's at Barstool now, man. I mean, come on.
That's right. That's right.
All right, here's our buddy. He's the best. T Bob Hebert.
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
With ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch berries, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubw.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
It is our pleasure to be joined by the just phenomenal host of Wake Up Barstool, Wub, as they call it. He is also the heart and soul of Barstool's college football podcast, Unnecessary Roughness. T-Bob Hebert in the house. How we doing, man? You
Gabe,
okay?
Teddy, what's up?
You okay,
I don't
man?
know, man.
I know you're crushing it personally, dude. I'm so happy for you. You're killing it at the new gig at Barstool, but I know you're just experiencing pain with the alma mater.
Yeah, it's funny what a difference a year can make, right? Because last year when we talked going into this game, everything was kind of inverted. No, I don't think LSU was as good as OU is this year, but OU, even talking to you before OU Texas last year, and the O-line's all hurt, they're a disaster. Nobody knows they believe in Venables, everything's shit, and I saw some modicum of hope at this point last year for LSU. I mean, while it wasn't as quite what you would have wanted, right? You still had like these badass offensive tackles, couldn't run block, sure they could pass block. There was hope. And even like I can't help now that we're just sitting down talking about this game specifically, LSU Oklahoma, thinking back to that game last year and how it played out, where LSU's offense looked awesome. Garrett Nussmeier looked like a potential first overall pick. Looked like Chris Hilton was finally going to come online and stay online after a year and a career of being injured. And as I said, what a difference a calendar year could make, because y'all's alma mater is not just stabilized, but y'all are on the verge of overcoming what was thought to be an impossible schedule with a 10-2 resume that probably nearly beats any other resume in the entire country. You now have belief in your head coach and that he can be the guy going forward. Well, LSU has no coach. They're embroiled in a bitter and going to continue to get more bitter legal battle with their former head coach. The governor is out here taking charge of the entire university as well as the state. Lane Kiffin's playing games like nothing is settled. And the actual team and product on the football field is worse than I've ever seen it. Like in many ways, like even worse than that 5-5 year in 2020 when Coach O kind of lost, or maybe it was 2021. No, it was 2020 because it was 5-5. Yeah, when Coach O kind of lost, control of the program there in his own right. So it's bad. It's bad, guys. There's no other way around it. Again, personally, maybe it's a bit less painful than it could have been in the past because like I'm not spending 25 to 30 hours of my life just talking about this team. And the New Orleans Saints, who are also god awful, and the New Orleans Pelicans, who are also god awful. Except shout out Derek Queen. We love Derek Queen. So yeah, it's in my personal sports fandom, this is as down bad as I have ever been, and I'm not sure that it's even really particularly close.
Well, okay. Before we ask you about the football team, like kind of some specific stuff, let me ask you this. What should Oklahoma expect morale wise by the players and the coaches that show up? I mean, with all the stuff going on that you talked about, is this a football team that's going to be trying to play season ruiner for Oklahoma, or is this a football team that's looking at the transfer portal and wondering what coaching staff they're going to be on next year?
Yeah, I think the latter is probably closer to the truth. I mean, probably the most disappointing part of the Brian Kelly era was the complete erosion of the culture of LSU football that me and a lot of my older alumni compatriots tried to uphold and instill into the generations that came behind us. I mean, all toughness is gone. The culture that this school reminds me of is Jimbo Fisher's A&M. Overpaid, under delivering, no pride, no toughness physically, no toughness mentally. Um, I liked the effort they showed to win that Arkansas game a couple of weeks ago, but then you followed up with you did against Western Kentucky, and now I look at this Oklahoma matchup going to be in Norman. There's just no chance. There's just no chance. And again, culturally, again, I don't you'll get. I think it's one of those games where you'll get some measure of pride because these are premier athletes. But if you jump on them early, right? If you choke them out, like that's going to dissipate. They'll fold so quickly. They'll fold like a folding chair. Um, and from a specific matchup standpoint, like on the field, do y'all realize how bad LSU's offense is? Like
Yeah, they're
with
at the bottom of almost every statistical category in the SEC,
with
close
no
to the bottom.
exaggeration, you can call this quantifiably the worst offense in school history. So ever since the D1 split, this is a great stat that Wilson Alexander, beat writer for the Advocate, had. But ever since since the Division One split in 1978, we have FBS and FCS. Um, LSU has never had a offense that has failed to score at least 25 points against an FBS opponent, more than 25, because LSU did hit 25 one time this season. LSU's offense will almost assuredly not get over 25 against that incredible Oklahoma defense this weekend, meaning they will go an entire season. And I'm not talking Power Four, I'm talking FBS. They will go an entire season without scoring more than 25 against an FBS opponent. That has never happened in school history. So, dog shit is the word I used before we started the interview. And that is the word that I will continue to lean on here because that is what they have put on the field to the tune of an over. And and this is like, so I've always judged coaches with this metric of, I've always like blue chip ratio to judge coaches with, right? Not that blue chip ratio means you're going to be good or bad, not that it's the end all be all, but where are your results relative to your talent? And are you bringing that talent up or are you underperforming? There's another metric you can use today, and it's money invested, right? How much money is on the roster compared, like when Vanderbilt beat the fuck out of LSU, that's extra bad and stung extra bad because you have over $20 million involved in your roster. They do not. They have money, but not that amount. And so you look at an LSU team that's top 10 in blue chip ratio, top 10 in spending, and these are the results. It's an abject disaster. Again, overpaid, underdelivered, no pride. Guys just happy to go back to their parking lots with their fucking G Wagons and all their nice fucking cars nowadays. How about you give me a fucking O lineman with a Toyota Tacoma who wants to go beat the shit out of someone and have a grizzly mitt in their lip, okay? Because that's what I knew. And that's what I loved. And that's what has been lost with this current regime at LSU.
Shout out to Grizzly. the cheapest can in the game.
Yeah. We
Oh
used to have
my
to buy
gosh,
the
T-Bub.
upperclassmen Grizzly Mint logs during camp.
Oh my
How we all
God.
got addicted.
Oh, okay. I think it's very clear how you feel about this LSU team.
Yeah.
It has been arguably the most disappointing team in the country, right up there with Clemson. Right
Yep.
now, is there anything about this team that you've seen that could make you think maybe things could be interesting on Saturday in this game?
I like how you're trying to find a way to frame that.
Just like
No,
is there anything
no.
that you've seen lately
No.
where you go, hey, LSU can make this a game against Oklahoma?
No, because I mean, look at how the two teams are trending. And again, I say that mainly with the matchup in mind. Like if I mean, okay, if LSU had a frisky offense and a god awful defense, well, okay, that's kind of strength on strength, weakness on weakness. Maybe there's a balancing act that could happen where they could keep it close. But Oklahoma is so good defensively. LSU is so bad offensively. I just don't know how they score. And granted, Oklahoma's offense is not the best, but they find a way to make enough plays. And LSU's defense is not that good either. They're okay, like they're better compared to the defensive lows that you had found in recent years. They're definitely much improved, but there's still nothing that like dominant or to really write home about. I mean, Mansour Delane's awesome, the cornerback, probably top five, top three guy in the entire country. Weeks is fun when he's healthy. There's flashes defensively, but it's just no. And Oklahoma is a team whose culture and belief in themselves seems stronger than ever, whereas LSU's culture and belief in themselves is probably at an all-time low here. So no, I like they can't run the ball, they can't throw the ball. So I don't exactly know where we find success here, and it's kind of crazy that in the Brian Kelly era, and this is a credit to Evan Sachs, LSU kid. He's just a funny guy on Twitter, but he pointed out that, and this is again like statistically true. In Brian Kelly's 4 years, even amidst winning a lot of football games, he managed to create 1 year that had the worst special teams that the school had ever seen, 1 year that had the worst defense the school had ever seen, and now a year that has had the worst offense that the school has ever seen. It's almost like the old Baxter eating the wheel of cheese and Anchorman. Like at a certain point, I'm not even mad. I'm almost impressed with how far you had to push things to be able to accomplish something like that while still having like a Heisman winner in that tenure, still winning like an SEC West in there randomly. Like that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like Brian Kelly got paid $50 million to come sabotage the program. What do you see with Van Buren? I know Nussmeier was expected to have a great year, you know, was getting killed in the pocket, the offensive line issues. Van Buren's going to be the guy in this game. What does he offer that's maybe a little bit different or that could pose a potential issue for Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, look, if nothing else, Van Buren has a bit of an ability to run. It's nothing overwhelming, but he can move where Nuss could not, right? And I want to be clear on Nuss. I think right now he's probably pretty mentally broken. And you can see how skittish he became as the year went on. But I mean, again, everybody's flirted with this. It's not confirmable, so I'm not reporting this. It is my personal belief and opinion that he was playing hurt for the majority of the year. And so you had a real gumbo of perfectly bad ingredients where you've got a quarterback who's trying to play through injury. You got an offensive line that lost two bookend first and second round tackles to the NFL, along with four starters overall, four guys that eventually found their way to NFL teams. And so you have an offensive line that's replacing all this talent. They're not nearly as good. In fact, they end up being quite bad, like actively bad. Hurt quarterback, bad offensive line, and then a play caller in Joe Sloan that was also very clearly in over his head. I mean, even when they had that great O-line last year and the offense was okay at times last year, that was still an opinion that was being bandied about. So bad play calling and design, bad O-line, hurt quarterback. There's a reason why it was a disaster. And it's also to show that all those different elements were kind of fighting against each other. Like there was no one element that was able to overcome the other. The quarterback play wasn't sharp enough to make up for a subpar offensive line. He didn't have the ability to run. He couldn't make quick enough decisions or get the ball where he needed to because he was hurt. The offensive line couldn't make up for subpar quarterback play or make the play calling easier for the play caller because they just can't block, pass block or run block. And the play caller wasn't creative enough to try to find ways to overcome or mask these issues. And so it just all ended up imploding. So like I do feel for Nuss in some ways because that's a bad hand to be dealt as you're trying to overcome injury for sure. And while the backup quarterback in times of struggle always becomes the most popular guy in town, I have no illusions about Michael Van Buren just being some sort of panacea and cure-all for this LSU offense, which has a bevy of problems.
First of all, tremendous use of panacea. Very impressive. Your diction is top tier, sir.
We're out here, baby.
Now, I want to pivot this conversation because I think it's very clear how you feel about this LSU team.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Oklahoma?
Yeah,
I've heard you talk
about that.
I've heard you talk about it on Unnecessary Roughness. I heard you recap some of our big wins on WUB. Like, what are your overall thoughts about this version of Oklahoma? And do you think this is a group that can make some serious noise in a college football playoff, T-Bob?
Yeah, I think it is because I think Oklahoma has a truly elite defense. Obviously, the offense is kind of in starts and fits, it feels like right now. I have a weird thing with John Mateer where it's almost like I believe in him. And then I look at the numbers and I'm like, God, like, should I believe in him as much as I do? Like, he's definitely tough. He's definitely a gamer. He's got moxie. Maybe need to see a little more. Like even last game, he sailed that one pass right before the 86-yard touchdown. And I typed out in my notes, like, I think I'm finally ready to admit John Mateer's not good. And then granted, it's not like a crazy throw, but he comes back, right decision, perfect throw in the slant, sets up a speedster. What's his name? He's so fast.
Satania.
Yeah, Satania. What a name, too, if you're going to be that fast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Sounds bad.
It sounds exactly. So he perfectly hits Satania in stride so he can take advantage of all that speed. Bam, 86-yard touchdown as I'm typing out. Maybe it's time to admit John Mateer's not that good. So there's a toughness to Oklahoma's offense that I do enjoy. And I think a guy like Mateer does give you a fighting chance. But the real reason, everything goes back to that defense. I mean, and that's ultimately when you hire Brent Venables, I think if I'm an Oklahoma fan, that makes me feel so good. If I'm hiring someone who's an expert on one side of the ball, that side of the ball better be dominant. And although it maybe took a little longer than he wanted, they are that. And if he'd be without R. Mason Thomas the last few weeks, who I believe to be right up there with Cassius Howell as the scariest and most disruptive edge defenders in the entire SEC, like maybe the entire country, to be without him and to not miss a beat. And you want to talk about why they're going to be a problem in the playoff? Because you know what travels? Defense. That's how you go on the road and you beat Tennessee on blackout Halloween night when that stadium is as intimidating and insane as any stadium in the entire country. That's how you go on the road and you beat Alabama for a second year in a row and you overcome like all sort of win game expectancy metrics because you shouldn't have won, but your defense is just so fucking good that they wrested victory away. That's how you do what you did against Mizzou last week in a kind of potential trappy, coming off of a brutal stretch, coming off of two really emotional wins to hold serve and really to eat some punches early in that game, but to be so good defensively that you never fold. Like you take a few on the chin, but ultimately you come with the stops. And even though Mizzou's dominating early on, it's still only 3-0. And so they stay in the game long enough, and then the offense is dynamic enough and explosive enough where they'll land a couple punches of their own and they'll eventually win. It feels a lot, honestly, like teams that I was a part of at LSU, where the offense was never anything to write home about, but the defense would dominate and hold serve for so long, we would lean, and then eventually break through. And it's a very tough makeup of a team in a day and age where a lot of football can feel a bit more finesse. So, hey, look, you overcome this schedule, like there's not a more battle-tested team in the entire country than Oklahoma. And so that's why I would feel positive about them making an impact in the in the playoff.
Well, what's next at LSU? I mean, the regular season this is it, about to wrap that up.
Yeah.
They're bowl eligible, but you got the coaching thing going on right now? What's the next 3 or 4 weeks look like?
I don't know what that, I mean, I don't know because who knows what the hell Lane Kiffin's going to do, right? I do know this. If it was anybody but Lane Kiffin, I would feel confident in the people I'm hearing from that he is going to LSU. But Lane Kiffin has some real Heath Ledger Joker energy in all of this. Like it is quite literally impossible to know what he's going to do. I'm not even sure if he knows what he's going to do. It's unprecedented to see a coach sitting here on the verge of 11-1, a playoff berth, the best season he's ever had personally, the best season the school's ever had in its history, and to not just be exploring other opportunities, but to be actively adding purposeful trolley fuel to the fire. It's something we've never seen before. And so I don't have any historical precedent really to fall back on here and say, okay, this is my read on it. I do know from LSU standpoint that the most interesting development as of late is the governor, Jeff Landry, who, if you don't know anything about the Louisiana governor, they basically have dictatorial powers in the state. And even with that in mind, Jeff Landry has amassed power beyond that, even to have stuff like the AG's office. Like he has more power than anybody's ever had since Huey P. Long, the Kingfish, who FDR once called the second most dangerous man in America back in the day. And like the Kingfish, who was obsessed with LSU football, Jeff Landry knows what LSU football means to the state. And he is currently involved, allegedly, hypothetically, in a pretty interesting and very risky political gamble where like he has all the support in Louisiana politically. I thought it was very interesting when he chose to get so involved with LSU football, removing the coach, removing the president, all this stuff, because the one way to lose his base would be if he got to be viewed as the man who kind of fucked up LSU football. It'd be the only way to make his voters mad. But with great risk comes great potential reward. And getting Lane Kiffin would be a massive win. It would bring people over to his side who maybe weren't on his side before, maybe don't agree with politics. It's got a bit of a folk hero tale to it. And with that in mind, he recognizes the importance. And again, allegedly, hypothetically, he is all in on this search and he has unlocked political funding that has never been involved in LSU football before. That is why now all of a sudden, like LSU and Louisiana, I said they didn't have money because Louisiana is a very poor state. And it's been pointed out to me, yes, demographically, on an individual basis, Louisiana is a very poor state. But there are massive companies that do business here. Massive, massive companies that do business here that somebody like the governor may have leverage against, unless you were to hypothetically throw in some money to the NIL. And then, and then we're fine. And so all of a sudden, this political machine has been centered around fundraising for LSU football, and that's how they're promising coaches $90+ million contracts and rosters with guarantees of over $25 million invested in each roster. So this political money is a bit different, and it's kind of the it's the element in all my pontificating about all this that I missed, was that there is money there. It's just avenues that haven't always been unlocked previously. And a lot of people said that to me. Like all Roughness would always say that to me when I'd say LSU doesn't have money, they don't have the money. And, it turns out they were right. That they did, that you can find the money if motivated enough. And Jeff Landry is motivated enough.
If they don't get Kiffin.
Yeah.
If y'all don't get Kiffin, who do you want?
I don't know. I don't care. After Kiffin, everybody else might as well be a nameless, faceless parade of white guys. I mean, they're all the same guy, right? It's like every other candidate. The one guy that I would advocate for, and I'm biased because I played with him and I know what kind of leader he is and what kind of man he is, but the current defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, Kelvin Shepard, is 1000% who I would hire. The college is becoming more and more NFL like. He's got great NFL experience. He has had a stellar year as DC there. He's a true leader of men. He loves LSU. He knows what it takes to build the culture at LSU. And you want to talk about recruiting? Not only would he have that $25+ million NIL to go shop around with, but how about this? I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb. But in a day and age where all these major colleges are just parading the same old white guy into your room, What happens when Kelvin Shepherd walks in and he's fucking big, jacked, tatted, got dreads, and he knows football through and through? Like, it's just completely different. But again, nobody's going to be willing to take that risk. They're going to cite things like, oh, he doesn't have the resume, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. And that's all well and good. But if you want to talk about potential ceiling, I would so much rather do something different than what you've done for the last upteenth amounts of hires. So the only guy, and I would even put him over Kiffin, which is maybe where people would attack my argument and say that I'm completely biased here, and I'm admitting that I am. But the only guy that does anything for me outside of Lane Kiffin is Kelvin Shepherd, even though, again, that's a bit of a pipe dream for me.
If they don't get Kiffin, whoever they do get is going to be stepping into probably an adversarial situation right out of the gate with no blame on them at all, right? Is that kind of how it feels?
Yeah, I mean, it's
everyone
pretty
has piled
toxic.
up to Kiffin. Yeah.
It's pretty toxic. And look, one thing about, and I don't agree with Jeff Landry's politics at all. I'm not a fan of him. But one thing about these big time politicians is that they do tend to be very charismatic and funny and whatnot. They just know how to bullshit, right? And so it's weird because like LSU on one hand should be so unattractive right now. The leadership appears to be completely in flux. They're actively having a dirty and gonna get dirtier fight in court with the coach that they just fired, trying to not pay that man his money. Well, why, as a head coach, would I want to go there then? Well, it's because the governor's sitting there and he's buttering you up and he's telling you, look, man, I'm going to make everything, everything's going to be yours. But that same guy, that deal comes with the implicit understanding that, but you have to win. Because my ass is tied with your ass now. If I'm the guy that brings you in, after I did all of this, you have to be successful. Otherwise, you're going to be dead to me. And when you're dead to an aggressive politician, that's a bad place to be. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty fucking toxic situation to be walking into right now.
Last question for you, T-Bob. Who do you think the best team in the SEC is?
I stick with Texas A&M, man. I don't overthink this one. I think, and you can attack the schedule, everything else. Obviously, Georgia's always in play because while Georgia hasn't been as overwhelmingly dominant or talented this year, you want to talk about the best culture in the country, best culture in the SEC. I think they win that easily. I think Kirby's had a lot of wins with culture this season. I think that Gunnar Stockton is as composed as a quarterback as you want it, like a big time moment, just unflappable in a lot of ways. So Georgia, you could absolutely answer, but I mean, I look at Texas A&M. They have a very dynamic quarterback. But first off, they have elite defense, right? Very disruptive defense. They can get after the quarterback. I think they're probably a little bit behind overall Oklahoma, though. Again, that's 1A, 1B, whatever. But they can be disruptive, get after the quarterback. That's one huge element of a championship team. They have a very dynamic quarterback with hugely dynamic playmakers, with Concepcion and Craver out there as well. They can make massive chunk plays, but they can also run the ball consistently and well. They're strong on both lines of scrimmage. We've seen them win in shootouts. We've seen them win in defensive battles. So they're amorphous. They can adapt to the situation at hand. And I think under Elko, they have a better culture of toughness. And I think that starts with Tommy Moffitt. I said it the day he was hired 2 years ago. Now I'm again biased there because he's the best coach that I've ever had. But Tommy Moffitt was the real X factor behind the 20 plus years of LSU success. And the day he was hired, I said A&M's going to be a real problem now. And already here in year number 2, you have seen just how much Tommy Moffitt has changed the culture of that team that used to be so overpaid and so soft. And yet now I believe have a real toughness to them.
T-Bob, I hate seeing you in pain and anguish, but there are very few people on the planet that are as entertaining as you are when you are in pain and anguish, sir. I appreciate you, brother.
I feel bad because I think it's great content.
Everybody used to love, so we used to do that show, Whiskey and Wine. And I cannot tell you the amount, it's like a post-game show or whatever that was unhinged, but I cannot tell you the amount of opposing fans that used to tell me how much they loved showing up after a loss. So I guess being a miserable little bitch is a special talent, and I'm squeezing and juicing it for all it's worth, guys.
You're the man, buddy. Appreciate the time.
All right, Gabe. All right, Teddy. Love y'all, man. Y'all take it easy.
You too, brother.
Later.
Wind, hail, tornadoes, and earthquakes are now year-round threats. And at the same time, homeowners insurance rates in Oklahoma are the highest in the entire country. Unfortunately, some insurance companies use deceptive and bad faith claim handling practices to deny or lower what little they pay out. Fortunately, one of the leading insurance bad faith attorneys in the country is a longtime Sooner and resides here in Oklahoma, Jeff Marr. The Marr Law Firm has represented more victims of tornado, storm, and earthquake damage than anyone in the Sooner State, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. There's only one law firm to handle insurance companies, Marr Law Firm. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, time to finish this thing up by previewing the best games of Week 14 of college football. It's rivalry week, Ted. Let's start in Austin, where undefeated Texas A&M will travel to take on the surging Texas Longhorns. 6:30 p.m. Friday night. Cannot wait to watch this game. Currently, the Aggies are 2.5-point favorites. And I could just tell by the look on your face you're about to say something that you don't want to say. That you believe, but you don't want to say.
Well, I think Texas wins the football game. You know, I think they're playing better. Arch Manning, his improvement this season has been really nice. Had a lot of struggles early. He's figured it out. He's playing much better ball. You know, the offensive line's still a problem for Texas, and that's going to be the real matchup. If they can find a way to give Manning a little bit of time, find something in the run game, I think I expect a low scoring game. What's new, right, in the SEC this year? But if they can navigate the A&M defensive line and find some points, I think their defense is going to give Marcel Reed some trouble. I do. He's prone to make some big critical mistakes, and with the athletes that Texas has on the edge and in the secondary, I think that could turn into a big swing for him.
I think it's very hard to go undefeated.
Yep.
And the key to the game for me is, can Texas's offensive line hold up against Cassius Howell in that front from A&M? I do not expect them to all of a sudden start running it really well. So it comes down to pass protection. Can they keep Arch Manning clean? When he's played from a clean pocket, Ted, he's been pretty dang good.
Yeah.
If they can keep him comfortable, I think there are plays to be made against this A&M secondary. But yeah, would it be great for them to run it efficiently and stay pretty balanced and to be able to get to their play action stuff? Absolutely. But I think Texas is bringing a little more confidence offensively into this game, and they're at home.
This is it for them. This is a season saver.
That's a great point. Like, one team desperately needs the game, and one team does not. And the desperate team is playing at home.
Yeah.
So I feel like Marcel Reed has proven to be one of the best playmakers in college football at the quarterback position, but he has also showed some stretches of play. The first half against South Carolina,
Woo.
the first half against LSU. That dude will make some mistakes now.
Mm-hmm.
And getting Anthony Hill back sounds like he's supposed to be back for the Longhorns on that defense. We know how much of a difference maker he is. I don't know, man. It feels like this is setting up for Texas fans to have a tremendous Thanksgiving weekend. Hey, beat A&M at home and then cheer for Oklahoma to lose and backdoor your way into the playoff, you know? Like what else could you ask for if you're a Texas fan?
Hey, it's really interesting to me, and you said it, like one team needs this, the other doesn't. Think about how different the offseason is going to be for Texas if they win this game compared to if they lose this game. If you win this game, it's okay. Yeah, we stumbled a bad fourth quarter against Georgia. We lost to a bad Florida team before the Oklahoma game. And then the Ohio State, like they're looking at it saying, hey, lost to some couple of really good football teams, had the Florida game thrown in there, but you go beat the number 3 Texas A&M team, it doesn't feel like everything is falling apart. You lose to Texas A&M at home, it feels like, the top of the conference is maybe separating from you a little bit. So there's a lot on the line for Texas.
No doubt about it. In a weird way, it may just be me. It feels like there's more pressure on Sark
No doubt.
in this game than Elko.
Sark is answering defensive questions at his press conferences, and Elko currently, they're partying at A&M.
Yeah, it's just interesting because Elko's the one with the undefeated team.
Yeah.
Explosive plays, really. Turnover battle and explosive plays is kind of how I see whoever wins that is going to win the game. Both teams very, very capable of producing explosives, especially the skill guys for A&M. Owens, you got to throw Marcel Reed in there with his legs as well, and then Concepcion and Craver are
crazy good.
Those dudes look like they're playing in fast forward. Sometimes they got speed, but I do feel like the Texas defense has regressed just a smidge over the last several weeks, but I'm with you, man. Texas money line. I just think it's really hard to go undefeated, and I just think it's natural for A&M's guys. Yeah, they really, really want this win. There's no doubt about it. But if they lose, there's really no consequence. Oh, we don't have to go play in the SEC championship game, maybe? Is that the worst? Is that the worst thing in the world, Ted? You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, I agree. And the interesting thing with me is like, it's game 12, final game of the season, and I'm still unsure on A&M because like they played South Carolina and had the bad first half. They came back and won that game.
Bad. I mean, just
horrible.
I mean, they threw up all over themselves. They're like my 2-year-old, just just everywhere. You're like, how did it get in your knee crevices, son? Like that's what that first half was.
But we know South Carolina is in a really weird spot right now, right? With what's gone on. I mean, having to get rid of coaches left and right. They played Missouri with the backup quarterback in Zollers. That was a close game until right before halftime. LSU, we know kind of their season has been a disappointment.
LSU was winning at halftime of that game.
I guess my point is I haven't really seen A&M up against the top half of the conference, like healthy, everything on the line, like, and being on the road adds to it. This is just, if A&M could go beat Texas in their house with everything on the line for Texas in this game, then I will not question A&M anymore.
I I think that's fair. We'll see Friday night. But we both like the Longhorns. Oh, got to
I
take a
know.
shower after this.
I
Gross.
know it. I know it.
All right, let's move on to the game. Ohio State at Michigan. This will be an 11 a.m.er on Fox. Currently, Ohio State is a 9.5 point favorite
Mm.
against the team that has beat them 4 times in a row. I just, what do you think, man? Ohio State won the national title last year. They have an even better team this season than they had last year. And somehow I'm still very nervous for that group.
Hey, sometimes in a rivalry game like this, the best team doesn't always win it. And having the confidence of four straight, it's like a shield you're carrying into battle. Ohio State is a massive favorite. Like the ESPN matchup predictor, the analytical, like the FPI, it's almost an 80% advantage to Ohio State. A huge line. But I think we all know that the nervous team in that stadium is going to be Ohio State, right? I mean, all of the pressure is on them, and that can make you do things that you don't typically do. You find yourself in a tight game or down early, guys can start to panic a little bit. So, um, I'm rolling with Michigan. I don't
Hold,
have anything to back it up, though.
hold on.
Ohio State's going to have to prove it to me.
Rolling with Michigan to cover or rolling with
Win,
Michigan?
win the football game.
Oh, my goodness. I guess
Yeah.
it's not that crazy. What? They were a 20-point whatever dog last year in Columbus and went and won. So
Well, not
it's
only
just,
that,
you're to the
it,
point where it's like you're going to have to see it to believe it.
well,
That's kind of
yeah,
it.
that's it. I got to see it to believe it. And like whatever you say about Michigan, like their shortcomings or like whatever their problems are, it's still the best team that Ohio State has played this year.
I mean, they played Texas in the opener.
Yeah,
And
Texas early Texas was not great.
yeah, so I think that's fair to say Michigan's the best team they've played all
Best
season
team
long.
they've played. Now, they've run through everyone like you would expect a great team to do, a defending champ, but they're going on the road to play a team that they haven't beaten 4 years. So I would assume that maybe there's one or two guys, but most of the guys on this roster, probably 95% of them, have never beat Michigan. That's a factor. So I'll roll with Michigan. Plus, I think it looks good for us if they win.
I There's definitely that. And then things could get really interesting in the Big Ten if
Yeah.
Michigan wins this game. But ultimately, and I'm just going to assume that Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are ready to roll. They got load managed last week, which must be nice.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to assume those guys are ready to roll. They're going to be themselves, and that's going to be the difference in this game. Is their Michigan, like nothing is going to come easy for Michigan offensively. Meanwhile, Julian Sayin has those two on the outside and be like, all right, here we go. Yeah, you may have just gone on a 13-play drive, Bryce Underwood, but here's 6 points on 2 plays, 60-yard touchdown. Like that's, I think, just how much easier it could be for Ohio State to find explosives and find points in this game. It has me thinking Ohio State's going to win the game, but there is no way I'm laying 9.5. Absolutely not. No
Right.
chance. And Ohio State has been excellent at protecting the football and offense this year. That's got to remain the case. The easiest way this thing gets interesting is sack strip, fumble, Michigan scores on defense, like that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think Ohio State's the better team. I cannot wait to see Bryce Underwood in this setting against this Ohio State defense. Like, I'm very excited to watch this, but ultimately, I just think Ohio State has too many guys. And I don't know, can they really lose to them 5 times in a row? That's where my head's at. I Give me Ohio State to win the game, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let me ask you this question before we move on. Ohio State hasn't played a 4-quarter game since they played Texas in week 1. How much do you think, or does that even factor in the fact that they've had guys on load management? They've, separated and had huge leads in second halves. Like, how prepared for a grinder is Ohio State? Or can Michigan even drag them into that to even make that a factor?
That should be Michigan's goal. Is let's get this to 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter as a one possession game, and let's see how they respond to the pressure. Because even though they went on that title run a year ago, there's a lot of different faces on this Ohio State team. Let's see if, as the old saying goes, pipes are diamonds.
Yeah.
That's I want nothing more than for this game to come down to the last couple of possessions of the game. Because Michigan's played some close games, man. They've felt that feeling a lot this season.
Yeah.
Ohio State has not.
That's my point. Whether or not you can get it there is the factor, though, right?
Yeah.
Can you hang around? Can you build a lead early, maybe, and hang on and put the pressure on them? Where, I mean, they probably haven't trailed in a football game the entire year. Did they trail at what? Maybe they trailed at Washington for a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know, but it's been rare, if at all ever, they've trailed in a football game this year.
I think if Michigan's going to make this really interesting, it's going to have a lot to do with Bryce Underwood's legs. That's the X factor in this game for me. You got to get an extra blocker in some of these run schemes, and the number one way to do that is go QB run game. Extending plays with his legs and delivering the ball down the field, scrambling, picking up key first downs. Like, Bryce Underwood has to look like one of the best players in the country in this one, one of the most talented players in the country in this one. If Michigan's going to get Ohio State into that scenario where that lemon booty could be a true factor,
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I want. I just want to be entertained, man. I want to be sitting there as we're waiting for our game to kick off on Saturday going, are you looking at what's going on? That's what I want. I just want to be entertained.
I mean, it's crazy looking at Ohio State's schedule and how soft it is. And I know it's like an argument point for people about, well, the Big Ten, their schedule. I'm not even talking about that. Like, I don't think it's good for them. Like, who's the best quarterback they've played? Altmaier, I mean, I don't know. They have not faced a dynamic quarterback. And I know Underwood's the true freshman, but interested to see if they can put some pressure on him. I mean, maybe not. Maybe Ohio State's just that good. And that option is not off the table. In fact, it's probably the most likely option on the table. But, rivalry games do weird things.
That was the most likely option last year.
I know.
And Michigan stuffed him in a locker. So I can't wait. This is what makes this weekend this is why it's so good, dude. I cannot wait to watch this game.
Who even played quarterback for Michigan last year in that game?
I don't know. I don't remember.
That's the point.
Who did play quarterback for him in that game?
I don't know. I'll look.
Michigan last season, quarterback. We can get this. There's people yelling right now. Give me a hint.
His last name starts with the W.
Warren?
Davis Warren.
I remember that guy.
I don't.
How
I
about me
could have
pulling that out? He's the reason I remember is him. He played against Texas. That's why I remember.
I could have been here all day and never guessed that.
Look at me. Hey, still got it, baby. What's up? All right, we got two more games. We got a preview. That was a lot of Ohio State, Michigan, but hey, it is what it is. They call it the game for a reason. Two more games. Oh, okay. Your face. Yes, finish your thought.
They beat Ohio State. He was 9 of 16 for 62 yards and 2 interceptions.
Incredible. And I've picked Ohio State to win the game. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. I feel great about it. Not worried at all. All right, we got two more to preview. But first, if you're looking for tickets to OU's next game, SeatGeek is where y'all need to go. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Oklahoma Sooners. So all Sooners tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure, and every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. So go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use our code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off any tickets. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. The app is extremely easy to use, and SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And remember, you can use code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code BREAKDOWN10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And it's so simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, and they put their users first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure, and they also offer injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Okay, looking at a couple more games with college football playoff implications. Let's go to Knoxville. Vandy will travel to take on the flagship of the state of Tennessee, the Vols. 2:30 ESPN. The Vols are currently a 2.5-point favorite, and Ted, I can't imagine a better player and scenario that I want to watch than Diego Pavia going to Tennessee with a chance to win the Heisman, with a chance to make the college football playoff, backdoor your way in there if you get some help. Like, yes, dude, absolutely yes. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And, Vanderbilt, they love being the underdog and using that as motivation. And, they're sitting there with 2 losses going on the road to play Tennessee, and they're able to play that card again. I mean, you can, to me, Tennessee throwing the ball deep is like the big chunk plays, trying to get over the top of Vanderbilt is the key to victory for them. And for Vandy, long, methodic, physical drives, keeping that offense out of rhythm and off the field, I think is the key for Vandy. And, I don't know. I think this is a coin flip game, in my opinion.
I'm with you. Now, of course, both teams want to win it, but dude, that Pavia, like that group is they are probably building this game up to be the Super Bowl.
Yeah, kind of is. Like this is it for them with all the success they've had the last couple of years. I mean, it's not the ending that anyone feels like they should have, right? You win this, you're 10-2. You got a really good resume that you can put up against a lot of people to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I this one's going to be wild.
It's a cool storyline, right? Vanderbilt football has never won 10 games in a season. Ever.
Wow.
And now you've got Diego Pavia and this team going to Knoxville to take on the flagship program in the state to make school history. Like, there's something beautiful about that, man. Like that's really, really cool for me. And still, if you're Tennessee, let's not forget there was complete chaos in the offseason for this program with the Nico Iamaleava situation, all that stuff. And if you're able to go finish 9-3 with losses to OU, Alabama, and Georgia, like, that's something to be proud of if you're Josh Heupel and those players and those fans. So I really just want to be entertained with this game. I want it to be a close game. I want both teams to feel that pressure in the fourth quarter. But you mentioned it earlier, Ted, the vertical passing game for Tennessee with Brazel and Matthews and Staley. Even though Diego Pavia has been throwing it all over the yard the last couple weeks, I feel like Vandy's just going to struggle to match that explosiveness. And it kind of feels like that Vandy defense has just been gotten a little worn down over the season. And I think Aguilar is going to have a big day throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I hope it's close. I really do. Because if Vandy wins, they've got a really interesting CFP argument. But ultimately, I think the Big Orange gets it done. I think the flagship rolls in this game.
I do too. I think it's going to be a huge environment. There's a lot on the line for both football teams, frankly. I just the vertical passing game to me seems like it's going to be too difficult for Vanderbilt to overcome. I could be wrong. And if you can shut that down and not give up any of those plays, then I think you go win it. That's kind of the question for me. Tennessee's been so good at it. So I don't know. That's going to tell the story.
I can't imagine how much Diego Pavia would love that both of us like Tennessee to win the game.
Right.
I mean, I hate betting against that guy. And I will say this, and it applies to like if Texas beats Texas A&M, if Vandy beats Tennessee, the fact that I'm going to get Tulane or whoever in the college football playoff instead of either of those teams, if they go 9-3 or 10-2, feels really dumb right now.
Beyond.
Feels really dumb, right?
What's crazy is we know that the whole play is money, right? That's why this playoff has expanded, and that's why they're floating ridiculous ideas like going to 24 teams for a playoff. But think about the difference financially in a first round matchup with, whoever it is that's playing Tennessee as opposed to playing a Texas or a Tennessee or Vanderbilt or any of these teams that may be just on the outside looking in. Massive difference.
You think ESPN, who televises all this stuff, you think they'd like to have Arch Manning in Texas in the game or Diego Pavia in the game rather than Tulane?
Yeah.
Me too. Yes. We're all for the group of five here. We are a pro group of five podcast, but this season, it feels particularly silly. Just saying.
Should be a qualifier to get in.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to let you pick the last game we're going to do.
Okay.
Your two choices, CFP implications in both. Alabama at Auburn, Iron Bowl, Saturday night. Or Oregon at Washington, 2:30 CBS game on Saturday.
Washington is a dangerous team, and Oregon, after, a big emotional win, critical game for them, that's going to be a big test for them. However, like for me personally, my attention will be on Alabama and Auburn. Um, just hard to watch those games out west for whatever reason. Plus, they're playing at the same time as us. I'll be watching the Alabama Auburn game, so that would be my choice.
Let's do Alabama or Auburn then. Let's do the Iron Bowl. What's going to happen at quarterback for Auburn? We saw Deuce Knight last week. Now it was what, Mercer? Ashton Daniels was sitting out to preserve the red shirt so he could play in this game, but then Deuce Knight went wild. Once again, it was Mercer, but he was running all over the place, showing the athleticism. I think he had like 160 something and 4 TDs on the ground. And
Pretty
that
good.
maybe we see them both, Ted. That may be what Auburn needs to make this thing a little interesting against Alabama. The fact that this is only a 6.5 point spread gets your attention, but weird things tend to happen in this game, especially in this stadium.
Yeah. And that's like a factor. Like Alabama builds it up to be some crazy thing, but they're the far superior football team and have been up to this point. Both sides of the ball, well balanced, good on offense, good on defense. Auburn has really struggled on the offensive side. Their front seven is really good, though, and could give Alabama some problems. But the back end, they're going to have to hold up against the deep stuff from Alabama. I think Alabama wins it and maybe wins it going away. But, if you come into this game tight, it's kind of like that Ohio State Michigan game a little bit. You come in and tighten up and make it something that it's not. Well, then you could find yourself, worried in the second half. But, I don't know. It's hard. I can't pick Auburn in this one. Just with all they've had going on, the year that they've had, the frustrations, it'd be very difficult to pick them in this game.
I think the path to Auburn winning is very clear. You got to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Cobb, Knight, Daniels is, he's a decent athlete, but it's like if you want to win this game, if you're Auburn, like you got to shorten this game. And it sounds weird to say that with the team that has Cam Coleman and Singleton at wide receiver. But getting in a drop back contest with Ty Simpson, you are going to lose that contest if you're Auburn, especially if you're playing the freshman. So their mentality needs to be, boys, let's go bludgeon Bama, shorten this game and win it 13-10. I have a really hard time imagining they're going to be able to do that. I like Bama. I know things get weird at Auburn in this game, but I trust Ty Simpson and that wide receiver core to do what it needs to do to walk out of there with a win.
I imagine Auburn's game plan is going to be very similar to what it looked like against us. Run it 5 times, deep shot. Run it 5 times, deep shot. Run it 5. Anytime you get a one-on-one opportunity with Cam Coleman on the outside, see if you can make something happen.
Should be fun, man.
Yeah. Going to be a great week of football. After
Iron
last
Bowl.
week, we need it.
Yeah. This last week was gross. But now this is rivalry week. This is one of the best weeks of the sports calendar, man. I am very, very excited. Birthday shout outs. Happy 10th birthday to Everly O'Brien.
Happy 41st birthday to Paul Jaramillo.
Jaramillo. Jaramillo.
Jaramillo.
Jaramillo. Jaramillo.
Happy
Jaramillo.
birthday, Paul.
Well, the other one's happy birthday to Erica Jaramillo.
Oh, yeah, there wasn't an A on the first one.
Oh,
You got a
classic typo
spelling
by me.
spelling
That's
discrepancy.
user error. Hey, and how about this? Happy 20th anniversary to Paul and Erica Jaramillo.
I
So we
like it.
either nailed it or messed their name up every single time. But happy birthday to both of you and happy anniversary
I like
to
that.
Paul
Just
and
get it
Erica
all
J.
done in one weekend, right? Just Thanksgiving, birthdays, anniversary, just wrap it all up.
Knock it out. I love that. On that note, episode 584 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday.
Let's
Hopefully,
go,
we're in
baby.
a good mood.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you all have a awesome Thanksgiving. All right. I feel like it's against podcasting law not to do this. Favorite Thanksgiving side, annual check-in. What do you got, Ted?
Green bean casserole, easiest thing ever.
That was your answer last year, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
My stance has not changed. Undoubtedly, the best Thanksgiving side is wine. Until further notice, that is my answer, but we'll check it. We'll check in again next year and see if anything's changed.
Agree.
All right. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our website. We've got everything in one spot on okbreakdown.com. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.